This month's team brief comes from the HIS Hub on the Royal Albert site, and this is the room where all the action took place during the recent cyber attack crisis. Now, I'm shortly going to be meeting Stephen Wood, who's the Programme Manager for IT, and he'll be telling me all about that. But as usual, I'll be asking him 3 quiz questions. First of all, during the cyber crisis, how many extra hours did the IT team work? Secondly, which member of the team had both a birthday and a wedding anniversary during that period? And thirdly, which member of the IT team has met Paul McCartney? We'll find the answers out later. So as usual, I'm going to start with our main measures of quality. If we look at the serious infections, you can see here that in June we had just 3. There were no cases of MRSA and 1 each of C. diff, MSSA and E. coli. And then if we look at the next slide here, where you can see the total number of harms in June, you can see those 3 serious infections plus just 1 more, a serious fall. So that means that there were 4 for the month of June, taking us to a total of 10 for the year to date. If we now look at the mortality data, you can see on this chart here that we've had a number of months above 100, which is not common for us, but the good thing is that it's improving every month, and the latest figure is 99, which is below 100. So that's a trend that has got to continue. How are we doing on our main measures of performance? Well, in terms of all of the access targets, we're doing absolutely fine, with the exception of the A&E 4-hour target. And you can see here, this chart shows all the trusts in Greater Manchester, and you can see that we are in 2nd position behind University Hospital South Manchester. The chart also shows a yellow band across the middle, which is the average performance of all the trusts in England. So we are actually doing quite a lot better than average, though not yet achieving the target of 95%. Moving on to our finances, the first quarter has been challenging, and although we ended up in a satisfactory position, we had to utilise £2.5 million of our reserves in order to do so. So we're now into a difficult second quarter where we try to recover the financial position. Our measures of patient satisfaction come partly through the real-time inpatient survey, and you can see here the monthly results from that. And there's that red band across the middle, which is the question about, are you involved in your discharge? But if you look carefully, you can see that there's been a very big improvement in this particular month. And if you look down at the bottom of the chart, the average figure is the best for any month so far this year. The other way that we look at patient satisfaction is through the friends and family test. And this chart shows the results from the last 2 months, and you can see that June has been slightly worse than May, but almost all the scores are up in the high 90s, which show that our patients are really very willing to recommend us to their friends and family, and we do better in this test than any of the other trusts in Greater Manchester. Now, you may be wondering why I'm wearing this sash. That's because the Trust is supporting Pride Week, and there is a big event in Wigan on Saturday the 12th of August, which we're hoping everybody will attend and support. Now here I am with Stephen Wood, and Stephen is one of the most interesting characters in the Trust. I mean, obviously if you look at him, he's got that rather unusual beard, which took 6 years to grow. And Stephen has worked for the Trust for nearly 20 years now, and at one stage he lost 8 stones in weight in one go, which is pretty impressive. We also had a competition a few years ago for somebody who'd got a lovely warm Wigan voice, and guess who won it? Stephen. So when you ring our switchboard and get a recorded message, it's Stephen's voice that you're hearing. Now, Stephen, I want to ask you a few questions. So first of all, what are the main functions of your job?
So the main functions of my role is IT Programme Manager. So I help deliver IT-based projects to the organisation. And the function of the department as a whole is to address the needs of the organisation for IT. So such a simple thing as a password reset for a user, all the way to helping plug in the HIS system last year, which was great.
Which was certainly one of the biggest projects we've ever done. So what are the main problems and pressures that you face?
So there's always a challenge with the current situation with the digital world, especially in the NHS. The NHS is becoming more reliant on computers going forward, and now since we've plugged in a HIS system, even more so. So there's a challenge and a trade-off between ensuring we need to keep uptime for the systems, so the staff clinicians can use the systems for the users, but also we need to make sure our systems are secure. So that means applying security patches, which often means server reboots, which means downtime. So
Yes, and of course we had the recent cyber security attack which involved the whole of your team over a long period of time. That was an amazing event, wasn't it?
Yes, it was challenging. From an IT side, it was, I hesitate to use the word exciting, but from a geek perspective, it's always a battle against the virus writers. It wasn't just the IT department; it was wider IMT teams that helped, and also I'd like to express a large thanks to the operational aspect of the business who worked with us closely, including Mary Fleming and also Alison Whitehead from Resilience, and also to thank the staff who put the business continuity plans in place.
Okay, that's fine. And tell me, in your department, what are you most proud of?
Well, certainly the staff in our department, as previously mentioned, the challenges that we face and the equipment that we need to deliver, it's great. And his system last year, it just pinnacles it all, really.
Sure.
The different types of equipment we plugged in, it gives me a warm feeling every time I walk through a ward and see these systems in use, and you think, yeah, we made a difference.
That's great. So now I've got the 3 quiz questions for you. So first of all, how many extra hours did your team work during the cyber security crisis?
652 hours.
Goodness me. And which member of the team was it that had both a birthday and a wedding anniversary right in the middle of all that?
That was myself, so needless to say I celebrated it retrospectively.
And finally, I believe that somebody from IM&T has met Paul McCartney. Tell me about that.
Yes, in the early years, we have a member of our staff, longer serving than me, John Hunt. He met Paul McCartney in the early 70s. Yeah.
Wow, great. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And that's the end of this month's Team Brief.